What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Past Gas. This week is one of the craziest stories we've ever told. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being serious. This starts with air racing and ends with possible connections to the CIA and Guantanamo Bay. It's crazy. This is the Whittington brothers. These guys were just simple dudes from Lubbock, Texas, moved around a lot, got into air racing, then won their very first entry at Le Mans. A lot of drug money involved in this. It's crazy. They got indicted and sent away to prison for smuggling drugs. And then it just gets even crazier from there.
At no point did we know how the sentences would end.
That's true. Every paragraph was a journey. And buckle up, guys. This one's insane. So this is the Whittington brothers on Past Gas. Summer 1979. Paul Newman is as big as they get. With classics like Cool Hand Luke, The Hustler, and The Sting already in his rearview mirror, Newman had effectively by this point all but pivoted from a movie star who loved to race to a racer who sometimes acted. In his 1968 film Winning, Newman played a race car driver who wins the Indianapolis 500. Spoiler alert. Newman's hope by 1979 was to win at Le Mans in real life. He was in a fantastic position to do so, driving with Dick Barber Racing in a Porsche 935 with some of the previous year's winners. The stage was set for Newman's victory, a quintessential underdog story. The famous actor who, after toiling for years at his actual true love, finally winning a, if not the, preeminent international endurance race. But like a plot twist straight out of Hollywood, the winners would be two actual underdogs, unknown brothers with no professional race experience who appeared in France out of seemingly nowhere. Don and Bill Whittington, driving inexplicably in the first and second shifts for Kremer Racing, would win Le Mans in their first professional race. Motor Magazine called it, quote, the day the winner came in second. But the Whittington brothers were officially the biggest curio in racing. For the next 6 years, the Whittingtons would be a fixture in both the Indycar and NASCAR circuits, their liveries easily identifiable by their conspicuous lack of sponsorships. But by 1988, both Don and Bill would be in prison for various crimes related to operating a giant drug-running operation.
Okay.
This week on Past Gas, how did two unknown brothers from Texas win Le Mans their first real race? How did they evade law enforcement for so long? And how do they finally get caught? It's Past Gas, baby. Let's talk about drugs.
Past Gas Podcast. It's about cars, it's not about sports.
Hey, big thanks to our sponsor this week, Duer. If you want to get some of the world's comfiest pants, go to shopduer.com/pastgas and get 20% off site-wide. That's shopduer.com/pastgas for 20% off. Thank you, Duer. Welcome back to Past Gas, everybody. My name is Nolan Sykes. This week, I'm joined by Felipe Armenta, sitting across from me.
What's up, Nolan?
What's up, dude?
Hey, Christina.
And
Hey, what's up?
Christina Felsky.
Hi, I'm here again.
Hello again. Welcome back to the show, both of you.
Thank you so
you.
much. Well, we were talking about how Lewis Hamilton just won the British Grand Prix,
Yes.
and that's so exciting.
That was very, very fun.
Is
very
it 2
great
or 3
race.
years? It's the
Two.
It's
just
2.5 years.
right?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
900. It's been over 900 days since he won.
Okay. Wow.
My boy having a real tough time at Mercedes this season in particular. You know, people counted him out. People counted him out, saying that he was washed, that he would never win again, that his exit from Mercedes to Ferrari
was a mistake.
I will say I am worried about Ferrari now because they had some pretty questionable strategy calls with Charles. I will say, though, Lewis is experienced enough. If he gets a call from the Ferrari strategy team to be like, hey, let's go on inters right now, he'd be like,
No.
mate, no. Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case. I mean, both Charles and Carlos are not new to the sport, obviously, but they
They're
don't have the
not.
same experience.
But I
as
also
Lewis
think
does.
this race, I mean, this was just one of those races where everything is like not going according to plan. And it really shows how quickly teams and the drivers can pivot in their skill. And I think Ferrari is still getting, up to speed in that category. Like they've been doing amazing.
They've been getting
this
a little
year.
better. They
Yeah.
have their new team principal this year, correct?
Yeah.
So they're still getting it together. And I think Lewis's experience will count for a lot when he switches over next year. I mean, what a fitting send-off, too, to win at
Your home race.
Silverstone with Mercedes
beautiful.
in your last season with the team that's done so much. I mean, he acknowledged that the post-race interview is just so
I mean, you
so
can
good
see it.
and
He's
inspiring, honestly.
You can hear him crying on the radio, and then when he hugs his dad, it's like,
just a beautiful, beautiful moment. And I want to say, at the beginning of the season with Max dominating so much, over on our other show, Big Three, I was kind of like checked out of F1, to be honest. I was like, this is going to be a boring season. Max is going to win every race, and now we have 5 winners.
I was going to say 5 race winners this season.
Very cool. And I think I was wrong about that. So I want to send my apologies to Formula One. Speaking of racing, let's talk about these Whittington brothers. I feel like this is a story that we've referenced. There's been a few different big smuggling racing.
I was going to say
smuggler racers out there. This is one I think that we've. Oh yeah, wasn't there a team that smuggled drugs, and then now we're finally getting into it. We've done smugglers before on this show.
We love smugglers.
Over on the Donut channel there, we've definitely done smuggler videos. So I mean, these are just great. So let's talk about it some more, huh? Let's get into some more illicit activity. Huh?
I mean,
Donut After Dark.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Turn the lights off.
Turn the lights off. Nick, turn the lights off.
No, not literally in the studio.
Nick?
If you're on your way to work, sorry, but turn your lights off. Turn your headlights off. Make sure nobody's following you.
If you're driving a car, just duck into an alley for a quick hour and a half.
Duck into an alleyway. Make sure you're not being tailed by the thugs, dude.
Yeah.
Let's get into this story here. Very little is known or recorded about the Whittingtons' early years. Don Whittington was born in 1946 in Lubbock, Texas. Beautiful town.
Have you been?
I actually have been to Lubbock.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Drove through there one time.
Okay. I'll let you finish the sentence, but I was excited.
He was born in Lubbock because his hometown of Tucumcari, New Mexico, did not have any medical facilities. His brother Bill was born 3 years later. The family moved to Farmington, New Mexico, soon after the family car was allegedly stolen with a sleeping baby Bill inside. They learned how to fly planes from a friend who owned a small aircraft. The Whittington family moved frequently, going from New Mexico to Hawaii and eventually settling in South Florida, of all places, all while slowly building a recreational vehicle business. RV.
There's so much in this paragraph.
There's so much to unpack here. Also, why they moved from New Mexico because they needed access to medical facilities? Why?
To be born.
To be born.
There wasn't a hospital over there in Tucumcari.
He was born in Lubbock, and then he was born in Lubbock because they were like, oh God, no more. We don't have a hospital. 3 years later, his brother was born with no details. Yeah. And then
he just spawned.
He was just born. Family moved to Farmington.
Tucumcari still has a population of 5,100 people, according to Google. If you live out there, shouts out. I love the land of enchantment. I really do love New Mexico.
I love New Mexico.
I know, yeah.
It's a great state.
Best license plates.
Best license plates?
Hands down. Best license plates.
Best underground cave networks.
Oh,
if you want to check it out.
Dude. Do you remember our Airbnb for the first season of High Low? Mm-hmm. It was like a swingers house. It had at least 12 bedrooms.
What?
Do you remember this?
Wait, why was it a swingers house?
That's what we thought. It was just what we thought.
It had a lot of bedrooms.
Were there mirrors on the ceilings?
No.
Oh, there were just a lot of bedrooms.
A lot of bedrooms.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in Albuquerque for season 1. We get to the house at we had driven through the night. We get there 10 a.m. in the morning and then go to the tuner and then came back. They were shooting something on the street that we were on because there's a bunch of old vintage cars parked out front. Remember that?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the show. It was some cop show.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, though.
An old-time cop show.
Yeah.
It was strange. Anyway.
What a time.
Shout out to New Mexico, dude.
Bedrooms.
Always. So, racing was in the Whittingtons' blood, as the boys' father, Don Whittington Sr., had, quote, briefly competed in the USAC Championship car circuit in the late 1950s. Bill and Don would cut their proverbial teeth in the early 1970s at the Reno Air Races, nicknamed the world's fastest motorsport.
That's cool.
Dangerous stuff. Air racing, which existed almost exclusively at the Reno Air Races, consisted of aircraft racing in an ovoid course, anywhere from 3 to 8 miles, with pylons, both marking the boundaries of the course and also as intentional obstacles for the aircraft moving between 400 and 500 miles per hour. Don was reputed to be a podium finisher in 3 races, but verification for that fact is elusive.
Oh my gosh.
They still do the air races out there, I'm pretty sure.
That sounds insane. They have obstacles?
Yeah.
Like
Obstacles is
moving obstacles?
wild.
No. They're like
Just like the
big,
Red Bull competition
the
pylons?
Red Bull ones, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I think at Reno, though, I don't think they might use the same kind of planes, but I do know that when I was a kid, at least, my buddy went to that, and they were still racing like old P-51 Mustangs, because those things are sick and fast and very maneuverable. But like old World War II planes were the kind of the planes of choice for this, but I'm sure it's changed since then.
Wild.
I've never been to an air race.
We should go.
That'd be cool.
That would
we
be
should.
fun.
This also seems like the inverse evolution. I feel like once you, as a race car driver, get your fix in this world, you move on you graduate to planes. That seems to be a thing.
That's true.
I agree, yeah.
And I think these guys are going from, they're working it backwards.
Like your nerves get like so like steeled and like used to this extremely dangerous form of motorsport, and then when you go down to cars, you're like, this is
it's way too easy.
Yeah. Simple. Shit. I'm on the ground.
Yeah, I'm on the ground. That's
you know
one
where
less
I'm
dimension
supposed
I need
to
to
be.
worry about. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love it if they started getting into like extreme submarining. You know what I mean? They're just torpedoing through the water.
Yeah. Torpedo racing.
Torpedo racing.
They still have the Reno air races.
Yeah.
When's that coming up?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
It's not. There's a bunch of different classes. They got Formula One class, T6. They got Unlimited. They got jet racing. What the?
Dude,
What the hell? The brothers would move on from air racing to start a private plane charter business in South Florida sometime in the mid-1970s. Nothing shady about that. A cursory search of the Whittingtons' early years returns very little information, and for good reason, as their Fort Lauderdale private charter business was making them a ton of cash. Cash that they maybe shouldn't deposit in a bank.
What do you mean?
Why would that be?
What do you mean? Dude, Florida planes.
Cash only Florida plane business. Horrifying. Incredible. Setting the stage.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. I spend a lot of time in my car, and I'm always seeing other drivers on their phone not paying attention to the road. I'm a safe driver, all right? I don't want to pay the same rate as them. Luckily, Allstate rewards safe driving. With Allstate, the more safely you drive, the less you'll pay. Who doesn't want to pay a rate based on your own safe driving? You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Rates and potential savings vary. Terms and conditions apply. In some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, it's Hims. Guys, do you ever feel like you need a little boost? Well, it's time to stop worrying about your performance and get Hims. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing access to affordable sexual health treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. That's right. I think Hims is a super easy option for personalized ED treatment, and it's all online. All you gotta do is answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you for free. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/gas. That's HIMS.com/gas for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/gas. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Other than Don having placed 24th overall in the previous year's 12 Hours of Sebring, the brothers had little racing experience in any official capacity when they made the trek to France for the 1979 Le Mans. But this isn't as strange as it may seem. Le Mans has always been a grid composed of very real race car drivers with very wealthy hobbyists looking to compete. Doctors, lawyers, etc. In case you needed to know who wealthy hobbyists were. It's important to remember how incredibly expensive the cars are to operate and maintain, let alone to crew to feed and house.
I mean, it's got to cost like $1 million.
It does. And at this point, it's still they have the gentleman's rule, right? Where it's two real race car drivers, one third gentleman driver.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I
Very
forgot about
likely.
that rule. Yeah, thank you. The wealthy hobbyist driving in an endurance car race can contribute a necessary cash injection into the operation, and assuming they're somewhat capable, not get in the way of the overall result. And this is how the Whittingtons made their way into Le Mans.
Okay.
Having spoken with Erwin Kremer of Kremer Racing, Don and Bill arrived in France prepared to pay $20K each, which is about $85K today,
Nice. Okay.
Damn.
to compete with Kremer's Porsche 935 in that weekend's race.
These things are sick.
So cool.
And what'd you say, $85K?
Well, I'm saying-
$86K?
Is this
That's
the-
a deal. You're
I think that's a
spending
deal.
to race in Le Mans
Yeah.
with the Porsche car.
I mean, look, it's not like I don't have that kind of pocket money, right?
No.
But I feel like that's a rich person deal.
Is this the one they call the whale tail, Phil? The 935?
I thinking of the slant nose more like
It's very, I mean, it has like a slant nose kind of look to it,
Yeah.
but Motorsport Magazine
Oh,
says
yeah.
Porsche 935, racing's most underrated car, question mark?
Ooh.
yeah. This is like
Moby
BC
Dick,
Moto.
that's what they
Yeah.
call it. Moby Dick.
Moby
Oh,
Dick.
yes. Okay, great. Don and Bill were happy to pay Kramer for their spots. However, there was a miscommunication that would prove significant. Dan and Bill believed their payment ensured the number 1 and number 2 driving shifts in the car.
Okay.
But alas, Kramer's ace driver, Klaus Ludwig, who we have spoken about before,
Close.
I don't remember which episode, but we have, an experienced and successful touring car driver whose success had earned him the nickname King Ludwig.
Sick.
King Ludwig.
King Ludwig was
Klaus.
already slotted as the primary driver given his significant experience.
Okay, yeah, that's what you do. You want to get your experienced guy out there first.
Yeah, it makes complete,
Get you in
makes
the groove.
complete sense.
Yeah.
So they asked Kramer, a shrewd businessman as well as expert Porsche tuner, what it would take for the brothers to get the first 2 slots. Kramer replied they could buy the car for $200,000, which again is about $860K.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my god.
Unbeknownst to the brothers, though, Kramer was already looking to offload the car and for significantly less.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
Hell yeah.
The price he quoted was a clearly bloated quote in an attempt to end the conversation.
It's the you price. you
It
know?
is the
Yeah.
price. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't even have anything to add to that. It is a, you. You want this? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the price.
This is the price. The brothers responded by telling a shocked Kramer to go into their trailer and grab the $200,000 in cash.
Oh my
Nothing weird about that.
Nothing
weird about
weird.
having that much money.
Dude, Floridians.
Dude, totally normal to have $200K in cash in your trailer
Yeah.
from your weird,
That you brought from the Americas.
your weird Florida plane company.
Yeah.
They were
my
ready. I
gosh.
guess, yeah, they traveled with all this cash. These guys were
Balling.
business, dude. Wow.
Yeah, they did travel. Ugh. Unsettling.
They probably brought it in a carry-on.
I respect that. Anything to go racing.
Well, in any case, this was a wise investment because the Porsches competing in Le Mans that year were mostly 935s, appropriately nicknamed
Moby Dick.
Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Shit.
The 935 was the result of ceaseless development by the manufacturer to provide faster production cars. It was almost already perfect, but then Kramer Racing's 935 K3, the car that Don and Bill bought and would race, would become the most revered of all. Erwin, along with his brother Manfred, names, installed lighter and more in aerodynamic Kevlar bodywork designed by Eckhard Zimmermann.
That guy.
Yeah,
Yes, that man. Sorry. Kramer also outfoxed the FIA rule makers by discovering a way to legally fit an air-to-air intercooler. This boosted reliability and reduced the engine's weight.
Oh, wow.
So, by all expectations, Le Mans in 1979 was won by Dick Barber Racing before it even started. To be fair, it was a story that wrote itself. Paul Newman, the movie star / race car driver, teaming up with California-based owner-driver Dick Barber, was expected to take the win in their Porsche 935 to complete the Hollywood ending predicted in his film, Winning. The day of the race, Don and Bill's choice to purchase the first shifts would prove providential. The day was beautiful for their driving, where the night brought heavy fog and rain from the much more experienced Klaus Ludwig. Ludwig was also able to expertly create a considerable lead in his shift.
Go.
The Barber team would switch to 1-hour shifts, slowly chipping away at the Kremer lead by conserving energy. By the rainy morning, it looked like the Whittingtons would be the clear winners until the K3's timing belt ripped on the Mulsanne straight. Remember, this is 1979, so Don Whittington was stranded with a broken car, hoping not to get evaporated by the cars racing past it over 200 miles per hour.
terrible.
Stay in the car, man. Keep those belts on.
Yeah, dude, please don't get sucked into the clouds. Eventually.
That's what evaporation
That
is.
is what evaporation is. Thank you. Yes.
And also what happens when you turn into an angel. So,
You get sucked into the clouds?
I think so.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I think that's nice. Okay, eventually, Don was able to finagle a repair to get the car to the pit while his team's considerable lead evaporated. Dick Barber would take the lead until, in their final pit with 1 hour remaining, a seizure would require that they replace the entire front left suspension.
What?
This would give Kremer Racing and the Whittingtons the time to retake the lead and eventually clinch
seizure,
that victory.
So maybe like something seized up.
Yeah, something seized up. The way it said it, I thought that he had a seizure driving and was a little
That's
alarmed.
what I thought where it was heading.
That's where I thought it was heading too, but it appears, I don't think a seizure would require they replace the
No.
front left suspension.
I don't think so.
Also, this guy's tinkering with the car on the straight, on the Mulsanne straight.
That's so crazy, dude.
Oh my God.
That is so crazy.
Don and Bill would purchase a few more 935 K3s in cash, of course, from Erwin Kremer
God.
before leaving France as Le Mans winners. Again, first-time entrants.
Crazy.
Now they're winners.
This first time racing too,
First
right?
time, well, they were at Sebring.
Oh.
One of them got 24th, but still. Complete unknowns just 48 hours earlier, the Whittingtons' incredible win at Le Mans over Newman and Dick Barber Racing was all the media could talk about. The brothers would return to America and purchase the amateur professional raceway Road Atlanta,
What?
now known as Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, embedding themselves in the IMSA racing world. That was a twist.
That's
What?
Just
What?
came back and purchased the track.
Man, this racing's pretty cool. Let's buy an entire track.
I think something we are learning is that in no way can we predict the end of these sentences.
No.
There's,
No.
At no point did I know where a sentence was going.
No
and I
way.
have read this before,
Yes.
believe it or not. But I'm still like, huh?
Importantly, as we'll see later, Road Atlanta had, at the time, the longest straight in the U.S., a straight that was also well secluded. The brothers would start driving in IMSA and sprint races, always with their yellow Porsche 935 K3s, and usually with either no sponsorships or just one, Road Atlanta, the track that they owned.
Dude.
They would add sponsors CW Cobb, a South Florida suntan lotion distributor,
Oh my God.
and Apache Powerboats.
Oh my God.
Okay.
What is happening?
The brothers would segue their Le Mans win into IndyCar racing as well, with both brothers participating in 5 Indy 500s.
Damn.
Don's best finish being a 6th place to Bill's 14th place.
That's impressive.
Hey, both top halves of the
yeah,
field.
that's
Nice.
impressive.
Yeah.
6 is like crazy, actually. They would also attempt to compete in NASCAR, with Don making 10 starts, Bill making 2, and neither of them doing particularly well. It was clear that the Whittingtons meant to develop into a force in the racing world. They would prove serious competition in IMSA's Camel GT series, with both brothers taking multiple podiums in the early 1980s. 1984 saw Don and Bill team up with one man named Randy Lanier to form Blue Thunder Racing. Lanier, another denizen of South Florida, had been partnering with a third Whittington brother, Dale, in racing the Sebring 12-hour, and had ingratiated himself into the older Whittington's IMSA family in the paddock at Daytona. Blue Thunder would go on to help Lanier win the Camel GT championship that year in his March 84G Chevy. Don and Bill were building their racing resumes, and to all appearances, they were passionately pursuing the sport. But drivers and pit crews, like any workplace, talk.
People like their tea, dude. People like their tea.
That's right. How did the brothers run their cars with almost no sponsorships? How could they afford to buy Road Atlanta, let alone several priceless World War II fighter planes that they raced in the unlimited class at the Reno Air Races? And why did Don often land his plane on the straight at Road Atlanta rather than a hangar?
Oh my God.
All very fair questions.
These are good questions. I hope it's just one guy who's like, guys,
Hey, guys, something's not right here.
guys. And they're like, you just don't like them because they're not very nice
He's
and their
got a
names are boring.
Rolex on each wrist.
And his
Pays-
ankles.
And his ankles. I've never seen that before.
And his toes. He's got Rolex toe
He's
rings.
got toe rings. Never trust a man with toe rings.
No, that honestly, that remains true to this
Have
day.
you ever
Really?
Have you ever dated a man who wears toe rings?
Would you think I'd say yes? I need to know this before I answer. And I'm a little sad.
Would I think you say yes?
Are you expecting
Look,
a yes?
I don't know what they're doing over there in Silver Lake. I don't know what they do over there on the east side, man.
And we
No,
all make
I have
mistakes.
not.
They have- okay.
I would not be surprised though. That's why I'm
Would
like,
that be a deal breaker or a red flag?
it would be,
It's a yellow flag.
yeah, it'd be a yellow flag.
A yellow flag. Okay.
Yeah, you know why? Because like maybe he's really great. The biggest red flag would be I found out he has like a TikTok where he dances. Like that's my nightmare. Is like meeting someone at a bar and then all of a sudden you see their online presence and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's your personality when you're alone. That's one of my greatest fears. But no, toe ring, I would just be like, weird. Why?
No.
I would definitely ask questions.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
But I'm like, yeah, I also don't get the, like, I know a lot of men are wearing rings now, and I don't really get
Rings
that.
are hot.
I love rings.
Yeah, we went
Yeah.
wedding band shopping a couple weeks ago.
Are you getting a skull?
No.
Just the Harley.
We
just
actually,
an
a couple
eagle.
years ago, we got like sent a sponsorship inquiry, and I was like, hey, do you
I
guys
remember.
want to like be sponsored by this? But it was all like skull rings, like all that kind of stuff. And I was like, man, like, I'm just not hardcore enough for that, man.
Can you imagine if Nolan one day just showed up and had a fistful of rings? I'd be like, what's
I gotta
going
be
on
honest,
over there?
Going
I
back
would
to the
love that.
wedding band shopping thing real quick, I was like trying on different stuff, and I was like, gotta get into this.
Dude,
I could get some rings.
I want to see you in
Do
some
it.
rings.
Yeah.
And then you do move to the east side.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. Once that happens, the
Once that
further
happens,
east
you
you
move-
move in LA, the more rings
They give you
have.
a ring.
Yeah, they give you a ring. Yeah. So the consensus among most of the drivers and the crew at the time was an echo of the sentiment stated by IMSA great Jim Busby. Quote, "It was common knowledge in the paddock about their background, but we needed the work, and it was none of my business how they paid the bills."
Okay.
Nice, Jim.
But while the racing world seemingly made peace with the Whittington's empire, the world of law enforcement was just beginning to pay attention.
They never want us to have fun, dude.
I know, man.
This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's hard not to compare yourself to others. Heck, my entire life has been defined by it. As they say, comparison is the thief of joy, and it's easy to envy other people's lives. It might look like they have it all together on their Instagram, but in reality, they probably don't. Take it from me. It looks like I'm living that car guy fantasy lifestyle, but when I go home, I watch YouTube and eat a bunch of cereal just like everybody else. I'm not gonna lie, guys, life can be tough, but you know what? A really great tool for that is therapy. That's right. Whether, it's in office or through a service like our sponsor today, BetterHelp. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on yourself with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/PassGas to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PassGas.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week. It's Duer. Duer is a Vancouver, Canada-based apparel brand known for its comfort-driven denim and lifestyle apparel made from plants and recycled material. It all started when the founder, who was in the jeans wear business, traded in his car for a bike to adopt a healthier lifestyle. He found out his pants weren't very good at being comfy, so he wanted to make some new pants for active people like yourself. Duer actually sent me a pair of shorts. I've been wearing them. They're super comfy. They got like a different kind of cut on them. They're not like your normal short. It doesn't bunch up or anything like that. I wear them a lot to the track when we're out there shooting. Duer is also made from sustainable materials. The fabrics integrate natural and sustainable fibers from wood chips, plants, and recycled plastic bottles. I can't believe that because these things are so comfy. Go and get yourself a pair of Duers, world's most comfortable pants. Get 20% off site-wide at shopduer.com/PassGas. That's only for PassGas listeners. Again, shopduer.com/PassGas. Thank you, Duer.
One of the only sponsors on the Whittington's cars was a South Florida suntan lotion distribution company named after its owner, C.W. Cobb. If there's a name you trust in suntan lotion, it's C.W. Cobb. Unfortunately, C.W. Cobb did not distribute suntan lotion.
Uh-oh.
Again, I am at no point know where this is going. The DEA started looking into C.W. Cobb after noticing all these rednecks in Cottondale, Florida, riding around in SL 500s with 24-karat gold Rolexes on.
There they are.
Sorry, I just snapped in your face. I was very excited.
What was that about?
I was excited. I'm sorry.
Hey, I mean, you got it.
I just
I
couldn't
know
go like,
there's other watch brands out there, but like,
But it's also like common sense. Like,
you gotta get a Rolex though.
well, this is the thing, right? Is like, there's that like current trend that's like, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be
There'd be
signs.
signs.
Yeah.
And it's like, these are the signs.
I'd be buying an SL 500. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. No one would give it away. No one would give it all up.
Oh no, for me, I'd be like, okay,
Oh yeah, what would we do? And then we'll get back to the story.
I'm just buying like every PS2 game that I didn't get when I was a kid.
Childhood stuff.
I'm spending $300 on like a really nice CRT TV off Craigslist. I'm buying
off Craigslist still.
Are we in the
buying
70s?
a second-gen Ford Lightning. Really nice.
Great.
Red, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, those would be my signs.
Okay, tight. Felipe?
Damn. I mean, back in anything? Are we time traveling?
Yeah, we're saying-
or are we stuck in the 70s?
No, I mean, if you were buying,
No,
if you won the lottery,
today.
Oh my God. Actually, I think I would keep it very low key. I would wait it out at least 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
I can't let anybody
I think
know.
I'd invest in a bunch of plumbing businesses because we always need plumbers.
Yeah.
Oh, plumbing.
It's pretty good.
We need plumbers. We need electricians. We do not need more influencers. This is a soapbox I will die on my on this YouTube channel. I think I'd invest in like some little small businesses.
Okay.
And of things that we need.
Okay.
I would also, I do believe, hire a personal chef.
Oh, you've really thought about this one, huh?
Well, I've thought about hiring the personal chef. And I believe I've said this before. I would get massages every single day. I've said that on this podcast before because that is something that would be really great. Yeah, an everyday massage. You'd be so...
I did that when we were vacationing in Vietnam and Thailand. We got a massage every single day.
Nice.
And I bet you were just like goop.
I got a
just
skin
gooping
allergic
around.
reaction at one point.
Well, that
and
makes
I was
sense.
Very worried. Worth it. Worth it.
Well, learn something new about Phil every day.
That's true. Okay. Anyway, they saw these rednecks riding around in SL500s with 24 karat gold Rolexes. What they discovered was a shell corporation being used to launder the profits of a massive drug smuggling empire. As
Who
they
would've guessed?
investigated, the Whittington sponsorship was the first of the red flags. The DEA, among other agencies, were also investigating Randy Lanier, who we've talked about
Yes, we have.
quite a bit on this show.
Yes, we have.
Lanier and the Whittingtons' Blue Thunder Racing wasn't just a cool name. It was a brazen reference by Lanier.
My God.
Don Aronow, a fabricator of speedboats, reached out to the U.S. Customs Service and offered to sell them a new boat that could catch the smuggling boats. Boats they are unable to catch. He obviously does not mention he was also building the smuggling boats
This guy's playing
that
both
they
sides.
could not
Oh my
catch.
God.
Can you imagine just you're playing both sides with the U.S. government? That's wild. Ugh.
It happens more than you think.
The confidence. All right, so the U.S. government spends millions for Aronow to fabricate 14 boats of his design, a 39-foot twin-hulled catamaran named Blue Thunder.
Nice.
Amazing. The problem, as it turns out, is that once they get the boats, they cannot outrun the smugglers.
This is genius. They're probably nerfing the boats on purpose.
This is crazy. Don Aronow was subsequently killed by two men who work for Apache.
Every sentence, the story changes. It escalates every time.
I didn't even have the right tone there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Don Aronow is eventually killed by two men who work for Apache motorboats.
Oh my God.
One of Lanier and the Whittington sponsors in their Camel GT run.
What the hell's going on in Florida,
I
man?
know, man. Later, it's like, they gave birth to Tiger King. You're like, what the Anyway, okay. With two sponsors under investigation by multiple government agencies, the Whittingtons were either the impetus for the investigations or a fortuitous extra.
Okay.
It is estimated that C.W. Cobb was running an estimated $300 million pot smuggling ring.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of
R.I.P.
cash.
That's a lot of pot.
That is a lot of pot. Discovered during an investigation dubbed Operation Sunburn.
Let me get some of that Operation Sunburn, man. That actually sounds like a nice strain, dude. Freaking hybrid. That's nice.
Oh my God. I know. Phil's brain
It's just-
melted.
I just can't. It's like every other thing that comes out of your mouth. I'm like, this is not real.
That's so funny.
Oh wow.
All right. Lanier would be tried for smuggling thousands of pounds of marijuana in federal court and convicted under a new super drug kingpin provision of the continuing criminal enterprise statute that landed him a sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
Sunburn sounds like a strain that would just make me very paranoid.
Operation Sunburn.
Dude, we had a...
See, I think it would be a really intense body high. So you're like kind of stuck in the couch, but then it also like you need to stretch. You ever had that happen?
Yeah, I've had that happen.
I've never done this ever in my life, but if I had,
We had a
you need to like
coworker,
stretch. You're like,
one of my coworkers in our old office, he just had a fat jar, huge.
3. It was,
3 jars
it was 3
of weed.
jars.
But I take some of it home. And he's like, yeah, dude, I don't really like it. My girlfriend doesn't like it. She wants me to get rid of it. So I'm like, okay, I'll take some. I'm not very experienced with this.
Oh, no.
And I go home and I like look up a video, a tutorial on like how to roll joints.
we've all done that,
That was
buddy.
hosted by like, it was like
Wiz Khalifa.
it was like a Seth Rogen video with Seth Rogen teaches you how to roll a joint. And I'm like,
You're like, I still need quality. I can't just have a guy teach me.
me and my roommate start smoking it. It's like the skinniest like little pencil joint you've ever seen. And I smoke it, and then I'm just like, man, I don't know, I don't feel very good. And like, I like go into my bedroom and I just get under the covers, but I have all my clothes on and like my wallet and my phone in my pockets because I was like, I'm probably just gonna like have to go to the hospital in a little bit. I want all my stuff to be within reach, and I'm just like there.
Oh my God.
It was like in my, I had my ID on me. I'm like, Jared, dude, I don't feel very good, man. I think you gotta take me to the hospital. And he's like, Nolan, you're just high. Come sit with me. Like we'll just chill out and watch some YouTube. What if we put on some Bob Ross? We'll put on some Bob Ross, and somehow we found like the only like scary episode of Bob Ross because he's painting like this. He's painting this tree that's like all scary. It was scary looking at the time, and I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. This is like freaking me out. He's like, all right, we'll watch how it's made. And we found an episode where it was like a pork processing plant.
Oh my
It was,
god, it's like the worst episodes.
So
you
it's
could be
like
watching.
these like pig carcasses are going into this like big grinder thing. and it
Is
looks-
Jared against you?
No, but like I was like, Jared, dude, I don't know, man. And then like the next day, like you probably remember this. The next like couple days, I was just like, guys, I think my brain chemistry is forever altered by this experience. I like that's what Operation Sunburn sounds like.
I've never heard the term super drug kingpin.
Super drug kingpin.
I also have not.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's an amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Don and Bill, however, must have still had some of that magic left that worked for them at Le Mans. Bill was sentenced to 15 years in prison after pleading guilty to tax evasion and conspiracy charges, while Don was sentenced to 18 months for money laundering. Their charges had initially included smuggling charges, with the government claiming the brothers would routinely fly 2 planes in the dead of night in unison, where the back straight of Road Atlanta was utilized as a runway while the other landed at a regular airport to cover their tracks. I mean, that's not a bad idea, as long as nobody's really paying attention to you. Okay. In their plea deals, the brothers agreed to pay $7 million in restitution to the federal government, which included selling the World War II P-51 Mustang fighter planes. I'm sorry, I cannot get over that's what they were racing. Okay. The 1979 Le Mans winning 935, other race cars, and team equipment. A restoration team taking care of the Le Mans winning K3 found a large empty cavity in the driver's side sill, with former crew members suggesting it had housed a nitrous oxide tank that had routinely pushed the 750 horsepower engine over 1,000 horsepower, often destroying the engine but finishing the race
A
first.
250 shot of nitrous in an endurance car? That's crazy.
That's insane.
It's crazy that these drug smugglers were also kind of cheaters, huh? Wild.
Don was released from prison in 1988, where the Philadelphia Inquirer reported that Don almost immediately cashed in $1.3 million worth of gold at a Delaware bank that was immediately confiscated by federal agents watching his every move. Bill would be paroled in 1990. Don and Bill, inexplicably, would open another private airport in Florida named WorldJet, self-described as one of the largest private full-service hangars in South Florida. Don would oversee the vast majority of WorldJet's business, while Bill also won a 2008 bid to build the $250 million Springs Resort in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, which would eventually be overseen by his daughter. It seemed as though the brothers had quietly returned to society. In 2007, though, a jet crashed into Yucatan carrying 4 tons of cocaine.
4 tons of cocaine.
That's a lot of coke.
That's a lot of
Dude,
cocaine.
these guys just have no chill.
They have
They
no
got off
chill.
pretty good, and they're still making money.
They got off well and then immediately went to a bank with gold.
Yeah.
First thing you do?
Well,
I got to figure out this gold situation.
Well, flight logs for the plane showed that in previous years, it had flown from Washington, D.C. to Guantanamo Bay.
No.
The plane's owner was a shell company, and one of its previous pilots, who was employed by the Whittingtons, was alleged to be a drug trafficker who worked for one of the three-letter government agencies. The Austrian parliament also alleged that the two planes owned by the Whittingtons, identified by their tail numbers, had stopped at Guantanamo Bay on business with the CIA. Mm-hmm. A year-long DEA investigation of the Whittingtons' World Jet resulted in an affidavit with some startling but unsurprising evidence that the brothers were allegedly leasing and selling planes to known drug smugglers. The profits of the business were allegedly being laundered through the Springs Resort. The parent company of the Springs Resort, Pagosa Resort and Spa, had the same address as World Jet.
Fantastic.
The affidavit by a federal agent claims, quote, the company would sell airplanes at inflated prices to drug traffickers, but maintain the title, either in the name of World Jet or a third party. When the smugglers were done with the planes, World Jet would, quote, repossess them.
Oh, my God.
The DEA had sworn affidavits with multiple instances of World Jet planes being seized or held for transporting drugs, weapons, or cash in Venezuela, Colombia, and the Congo.
Oh, my God. Hold on, real quick. Do you think they just spent their time in prison thinking of how to do their job better?
Probably.
I think so.
You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, I read a lot of books, or I got fit, or I became a lawyer so I can represent myself.
Yeah.
People do things.
I think it's like the game that they're in love with. It's like,
yeah, they're in love with the game.
It's like when you buy a car and you want to modify it. You know it's probably not going to be the best thing. You're going to change the car too much.
Yeah, I am. I'm battling that same thing right now with the truck. It's like, do I do anything? I love how it looks stock, but I'm also like, it could be a little lower.
Be a little bit lower. And I think these guys are the same. They're just in prison thinking like, all right, what's
the next move?
Yeah.
What's the game plan here?
Yeah, I mean, especially if they were friends with someone who two-timed the U.S. government.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
oh yeah,
they're like, I got to get back in this.
Yeah,
I don't feel
that's
alive unless
so
I'm
fun.
Yeah, I bet it is fun.
So a separate lawsuit was filed during this time that also heightened and framed what the DEA was investigating. In 2011, Don was sued by Telemundo host Maria Celeste Araras. Don had attempted to evict Araras' company from the World Jet hangars for what Don claimed was delinquent rent. The lawsuit, though, claimed Don had engaged in a reign of terror, including racial slurs directed at black employees and threatening to, quote, plant drugs on their planes if his demands were not met.
My God.
Oh, my God.
What
Psychos.
a roller coaster the story is. Jeez.
What the hell?
So, on November 25th, 2013, federal agents went into World Jet and were seen removing records from the premises. One would think that with the sworn affidavits and now records from the company, that charges would be imminent, but they were not. The DEA quietly powered down their investigation, fueling speculation that the brothers' quick release from prison and their subsequent rise in the business world was the result of a deal made with the CIA to assist in the rendition of suspected terrorists in the 2000s, with the understanding that their business ventures would remain protected from any other agency's oversight.
What?
An argument could be made that maybe the DEA had some bad intelligence, a lot of very specific and damning evidence.
They got a golden ticket.
You guys have to, if you're not watching this on YouTube, I've just been doing shocked faces for an hour.
Your faces look like that scene in Monsters, Inc. when Sully thinks that the baby is going through the trash compactor.
I don't have a working knowledge of that, but I buy it.
It's a great movie. That is
bonkers.
Terrifying.
The late 70s and early 80s saw a massive influx of seemingly endless cash flow into the racing world directly from drug smugglers and money launderers. In a lot of ways, it was a perfect vehicle for unloading large amounts of cash for people with a passion for motorsport. Race cars require profound amounts of money to operate at a high level, and there's very little oversight into how much or where the money originates. That's still true, by the way.
It's still true. I was going to say that's
still true. Rich energy. So the era of the Whittingtons also saw Randy Lanier, C.W. Cobb, John Paul Sr., and others involved in separate drug rings thrown in jail within a 2-year period of time. And this was not one large drug ring. They created a large Venn diagram with the center ring representing IMSA. Mario Andretti said of the drama, "A couple rotten apples have been messing with my livelihood, and I resent it tremendously." Oh, you sweet angel.
Not just bad apples, rotten apples.
Rotten apples. That's, I mean, from someone of Mario Andretti's age, that is like the meanest thing you can say about someone.
Yeah, calling them rotten produce.
A rotten produce comparison.
Yep.
Oh boy, especially he's Italian too. Yikes. Okay, for the most part, the crews and management of the affected race associations were more concerned with how big name sponsors like R.J. Reynolds would react. When the Indy 500's ratings, which were in a 3-year decline, rose substantially the year of the verdicts, business was back to usual. The Whittingtons continued to operate World Jet and the Springs Resort. Bill was imprisoned again in 2018 for tax fraud and passed away in 2021. Don continues to operate World Jet.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
C.W. Cobb's son, Brady, is now a lobbyist in Washington, working for the further decriminalization of marijuana, while Randy Lanier's daughter, Brandy, sells pot legally in Colorado.
Good for them.
Hey, I'm into that. Definitely into the decriminalization. Yeah, I mean, we said earlier in the script that Randy Lanier's got a life sentence. He's actually been since freed from prison. There was like I think a Road and Track or Car and Driver article about him a few years ago. He's like working as a race instructor, being a felon. Like, you know, he doesn't have certain rights and stuff. But it seems like he's trying to get his life back on track. I think a big thing about his story, Randy Lanier specifically, is that he was like a truly talented driver. Yeah. And that, you know, a few people say that, you know, if he hadn't got caught up in all that, like he would be like a legit American, like, driving legend, you know?
I mean, I think so too. The fact that he's working as a driving coach, like that speaks that he loves this.
Yeah, he really loves
this.
Yeah. So
that is interesting.
I'm glad that he did not spend the rest of his life in prison for that. If you want to hear more about Randy Lanier, we did a whole episode on his story. Very interesting. Definitely weaves a lot with this one. Dude, I can't believe the whole World Jet thing. Yikes.
Yikes.
That's wild. Of course, they got him for tax fraud.
That's always the thing, right? Yeah. That's how they get mobsters,
too. Pay your taxes, man. That's what you got to do. Keep your paperwork in order. You got to do that. Okay, so that was an insane story.
What a roller coaster. What a roller coaster.
Truly. That was great.
That was really good. Okay, so let's read some reader mail. So, hey guys, I hope this email finds you well. My name is Emil. I'm a perfumer from Mumbai, India.
Nice.
You guys have become a part of my daily commute and to and from work. I listen to nothing but Past Gas while I navigate through the endless traffic jams. And when I'm not in my car, I'm hooked to the Donut Media channel on YouTube. Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you so much.
I want to sincerely thank you all for the amazing work you're doing. Your stories are iconic, bringing automotive legends to life for people all across the world, including a car enthusiast stuck in Mumbai traffic. That's awesome, man. I mean,
that's cool.
That's sick, man, that you're all the way over there listening to
That's all we want to do, yeah.
Your content has kept my passion for cars alive, and for that, I am immensely grateful. Thank you again for everything you do. Your work truly makes a difference in people's lives, including mine. Best regards, Emil Jane. So thank you. I probably did not pronounce your name right. I apologize. But, dude, I mean, that's what's so cool is hearing from people, like, in DMs or, like, reader mail and just, I don't know, it's kind of like reaffirming that, like, we're doing a good job, I guess. And just hearing about people all over the world listening is just really like humbling and just really cool, man. So be safe out there, navigate that traffic. I'm sure that's gnarly.
I really hope he didn't pull down into an alley like we suggested at the top of this episode. I hope he continued to stay in the traffic.
Yeah. That was crazy, dude. So thank you so much. If you want to send us an email, hit us up at pastgas@donutmedia.com. We will hopefully, if you do a good job, we'll read it on the air.
Keep it quick, keep it tidy, keep it interesting.
Yeah. All right. So again, follow Phil at
Phil Armenta on Instagram.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. And follow Christina
Felsky.
Yeah, you can see posts about her cats, about her many vacations.
Yeah.
I like travel.
Yeah, travel is cool.
I like to travel.
And you can follow me at Nolan J. Sykes. Big thanks to the crew once again. We got Nick Giamuso, Gavin Kinzel. Is that Peter back there? Peter Nelson.
Peter Nelson's here
Audrey
today.
Holden.
Jimmy Pennington.
Jimmy Pennington for writing the script. Thank you so much. I mean, we've got a lot of people working very hard on the show all the time. And that's great. So, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.